I'm going to show you 3 personality traits that are very common nowadays, yet very dangerous, because they can slowly ruin your life without you noticing. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, and they will prevent you from making any significant progress in the upcoming years. And later in this video, I'll show you how to get rid of these traits and change your behavior in case you have one or more of these. And the perfect way to explain what these 3 traits are is by sharing with you a few screenshots of a short conversation I had with a follower of mine on Instagram that perfectly encapsulates these behaviors. Obviously, I'm gonna blur his name. The point of this video is not to mock this person, but to learn something out of it. This conversation made me think a lot, and when I see these behaviors and this attitude, it pains me because I see that this person really desires something, but because of these traits, they're not gonna get it. And I wish we could change that, so this is the point of this video. So let's get to the point. This guy sent me a DM and started the conversation by asking me if I knew of a way to run paid ads without paying, without money, which I found pretty funny. Obviously, you cannot. And then after that, he asked me if I knew of ways to make money so that he could pay for those ads. Now, since he's asking me, how do I make money? This means he's a complete beginner. So I just referred him to my private community because among many other things, one of the cool things I offer my community members is access to a full business course that I created where I teach the exact same business principles, concepts, techniques that allow me to start and scale my own businesses to more than 6 figures per month. So it's a course that teaches all the principles that one needs to know to build and scale a business that earns you anywhere in between 10K to 100K per month. Link in the description, by the way, if you're interested. So I send him a link to my private community and he replies, "Oh, it's paid. I guess I'll have to find something by myself." Which, by the way, as of today, October 25th of 2024, my private community is only $8. It might go up in the future, but right now it's only $8. It's affordable for anyone on earth. And this is the first trait, an extreme scarcity mindset. This person wants to build a successful business without spending some money here and there. And I know that we're talking about a course or a community that you could argue it's not strictly necessary, which, okay, but what is going to happen when he has to pay, for example, $30 or $40 a month for Shopify, and then 30, 40, 50 more for some other tool, then maybe some upfront investment of a few hundred or even thousands of dollars for whatever business it is that you want to start. You have to spend money at some point to build a business. And if you cannot even spend $8 right here to learn how to do so, considering these sort of questions that he's asking, I don't see how he's gonna get anywhere. Because the thing is that if you want to be up here, you have to act like you are already there. When I was starting out, for example, and I had literally nothing, before I built the 6 figure per month business, I was working at a job that I was getting paid almost minimum wage. And all the money that I made, I just poured it into learning how to do this and starting my own business. And there was a time that I was facing some difficulties, that there was something that I could not figure out. So I once decided to spend a week's worth of my salary to buy a 1-hour consultation call with a guy I followed online. I had to do 40 hours of work for a 1-hour conversation with this guy. And here's the thing, it was such an easy decision to make. It was so obvious. I did not hesitate at all. And it did help me a lot. It sent me in the right direction, allowed me to understand what is it that I was doing wrong with my business and why things were not working, what I had to change, and then how to proceed from there. I also nowadays offer consulting calls on my website, and they are $188 for 1 hour, which is pretty reasonable, I would say, and I will increase the prices in the future as the channel grows. But it's funny because the people who buy my calls, they get it. There's barely any hesitation or skepticism. A guy who bought one of my calls recently, he told me, he made this comment that people think that when you're buying one of these consulting calls, they feel like it's like you're hiring someone for an hour of work or something like that, but that's not what's happening. What you're paying for is all those years of experience and expertise condensed to one single hour where you can get all of that and you can get the best out of it, apply it to your life or your business or whatever, and not have to waste months or years to figure it out yourself. It's like that story that I'm sure you've heard of, that there was this machine that broke down in a factory. So they called an expert mechanic, and when he got there, the only thing he did to fix it was to tighten one screw. And then he charged them $1,000 to fix the machine. And when they asked him, like, why so expensive just to tighten one screw? He said, well, it is $1 for the screw and $999 to know which is the screw that we had to turn. So a lot of times with these things, it's much about paying for the expertise, not so much the effort behind it. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because in business is the exact same thing. You have to spend money to make money. And not just with consulting or whatever. I know this is what I'm talking about here, but just with everything. If it's a software that you need or a physical product or tool, outsourcing some service, paying for marketing and traffic and campaigns, there's a lot of expense. And an extreme scarcity mindset will not serve you well. And if we're already having trouble here with $8, imagine with the rest of the things that will will follow up. You have to be okay with being a little bit of a gambler in business. Just throwing some money here and there, knowing that there might be no return. And maybe you're just completely wasting your money. There has to be some level of risk. That's why I have this other video on my channel that I'm gonna put a card right here if you wanna go watch it, in which I explain that I think having a job while you're starting your business is actually a really good idea. I don't know why a lot of people glorify this idea of just quitting your job and then starting your business and going to this heroic journey. But I think it's not good, because if you keep your job while you're starting your business, the good thing is that you will have money coming in and you will not be scared of taking the necessary monetary risks that are required for you to succeed. And you will be okay with just throwing some money here, throwing some money there, because you know there's a paycheck coming and that you will be okay. But if you don't have that job, you don't have that security, then you will hold back from taking the necessary risk and expenses that are actually required for you to succeed in business. I'll put a link in the description to that video if you want to go watch it. So anyways, after he said this, I just left this guy on red. Nothing else to reply from my end here. What else could I tell this guy? And just a couple minutes later, he asked me, if I buy these, what will I learn in terms of money? And he asked me some other stuff too. And that's when the second trait hit me: skepticism and even cynicism. Because here's the thing, asking me what you will learn about business in my course makes absolutely no sense, because I explain everything that you will learn before you join the community. Okay, there's a welcome video and then images, like there's a product page that explains everything that you need to know. So basically what he has right here is doubt. He wants confirmation. He's not lacking information. He wants to make sure that it's not one of those shitty courses that you see online, which I get it. But being a hard skeptic, especially for such a small thing that it's not that big of a deal, is a horrible trait to have. Most of the people that I've met that are worth like 7, 8, and even 9 figures, they're optimists, even blindly optimistic. They don't doubt unless they're giving a reason to. A silly example of a similar behavior that I saw in one of my comments on YouTube is on this video that I have. Is my most viewed video that I made on Luke Belmar, where I talked about all that controversy that happened with him. And in that video, obviously I showed some photos of me with Luke because I've met him a handful of times, and I wanted to explain what I personally know of him behind the camera. And someone left a comment that I found so funny that said, "You never met Luke, your pictures are photoshopped, it's so obvious." And then I replied to him like, okay, then go to my Instagram and tell me why the photo that I have with him, why did he left a comment on the photo that we have together? And then he was like, oh, okay, my bad bro, the second pic looks photoshopped, but I guess I was wrong. And I told him the exact same thing. I know this is uncalled advice, but I would try to avoid being a hard skeptic. Most of the people I see succeed in life, in any realm, not just money, are usually the believers. Doesn't necessarily mean that they agree with everything and they let themselves be deceived. In fact, very often they're disagreeable people. But what I mean is that they can be blindly optimistic and always see how everything's possible. They don't distrust unless giving a clear reason to. And especially with such small things like having a photo with a guy or something that's $8, like that's the whole point that I'm trying to convey right here. Yeah, if you have to pay like $500,000 for something, yeah, be a little bit skeptical. Of course, double check things. But come on, like these things, it's just stupid. And then lastly, I just went back and forth with this conversation, and then I realized what the third trait is, considering all the things that we had talked so far and then some other messages that he sent me. The third trait is hesitation, and this could possibly be the worst of all. When you analyze the conversation, you realize that it's just filled with someone who's just not taking action, not starting, not doing at least something. And taking action is the foundation of absolutely everything in life. The most important trait you can have is speed. Just take action as quickly as possible. That's how you go through as many iterations as possible, make progress and figure things out. But a lot of people are just too hesitant nowadays. And you know, after all this, asking me all these questions and all that, I was a little bit fed up. So you know what I replied to this guy? I told him, man, honestly, don't buy it. I think you have a mindset issue. Just by this short conversation that we've had, even if I gave you the holy grail of money making, honestly, I'm not sure it would work for you. And well, I'm sorry that I'm being so harsh, but I'm just being honest with you right here. I don't want to waste my time nor yours. Although to be honest, I think looking back on it, I think I should have gone even harder. Because honestly, I don't want to be mean to people, but sometimes I wonder if this is what sometimes we need as humans. Like maybe to be called stupid, you know, as a wake-up call. I just feel like sometimes with my personal brand, maybe I'm being a little bit too nice. But anyways, if you want to know how to change these 3 traits in case you possess any one of them, what you want to do is to replace them by the most 3 important traits that you should have. Okay, there's another 3 that are very, very important, that once you embody them, it will bring you anything you want in life. If you want to learn this, there's a beautiful system / model that I came up with that I share on this video right here. So click now and go watch it. I'll see you there.